Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Blue Corner. So, spoilers for the Duelist Advent are up. We've got a couple of the cards revealed and I must say I'm actually pretty impressed with how this set is looking, and we've only got just a couple things. I'll also take a moment to say Dragons and Legends is looking pretty neat. It's basically stuff for nostalgia people. I'm curious to see how the Legendary Dragon's going to translate out and what other kind of dragonish cards we're going to get. I'm hoping that we get Dragonheart, Flying Dragon World, Red Eyes Burn, Red Eyes Spirit, just some of the stuff that Atticus used and Joey used during their duels and whatnot. Some of Jack's cards would be nice too, like Red Nova and Scarlet Cocoon. Just saying. But let's get back to the Duelist Advent. We got a fusion monster here, which is called El Shadow Midrash, Dark Spellcaster, level 5, 2200, 800, 1 Shadow plus 1 Dark Monster. So this Shadow archetype I'm thinking is going to be fusion oriented. They must have a good polymerization like spell if they're going to make this thing really work. This card must be fusion summoned, cannot be special summoned by other ways, cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects. Okay. While this card is in your monster card zone, neither player can special summon more than one monster per turn. Really? If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one shadow spell or trap card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So I'm guessing this is how you could recycle the fusion spell. It's something that makes this thing easy to drop, and then when this dies, it gets back. But the fact that, number one, it can't be popped, and number two, your opponent cannot neither player can special summon multiple times. Like, that's really strong. I could see Evil Storm players going to this deck, as it basically seems to be like that type of thing. There's a Gusto there that looks like a puppet. Like, this could be Evil Swarm 2.0. And yeah, people who love Ophion will probably like Midrash.deck. Thing is though, Evil Swarm actually kind of counters this, as you can't summon this while Ophion's on the board, and Ophion can run it over because caster into whatever to get this. But yeah, this is very strong. It could definitely be a thing. And then the first thing I noticed when I was going over the spoilers is, oh my god, a new ritual monster. Hell yes, it's called Dragon Princess Saphira, so it's a dragon ritual monster, which is even better because there's only 2 of them up until this point. I think, whatever. Dragon rituals are rare, so it's awesome to see this thing, and it's actually really strong. It's 25-24, level 6 light, can be ritual summoned with Song of Blessing. You can only use the effect of this thing once per turn. During the end phase this turn was ritual summoned, or also during the end phase of the turn that a light monster was sent from your hand or deck to the graveyard while this card was face up, you can activate one of its effects. Draw 2 cards and pitch one. Discard a card from your opponent's hand at random. Add a light monster from your graveyard to your hand. So this thing is actually really good. Making its effects go off will be difficult, but there's one deck that I know will be able to abuse the hell out of this. No, it's not Hieratics. It's Herald. What does Herald do? Discard light fairies. What does this thing do when you do that? It will get you back a fairy from your graveyard, draw you 2 fairies and discard a card, or knock a card out of their hand, making it even harder to get over a Herald. The fact that it's level 6, the same level as Herald, means you can just tribute off a Herald that you don't need in your hand, drop this. It's searchable through friggin' Preparation of Rites. The rituals, you can just advance ritual art into a Herald, Preparation of Rites, get this thing out, play another Preparation of Advanced Ritual Art, drop this thing. You've only gone really neg. Oh, is that a neg one? Whatever. You'll still plus in the end because you'll just get back discard fodder for Herald, and then when Herald negates something during your opponent's turn, you can get back another discard fodder for it, or you can draw into 2 cards. Like, this thing is going to be a really solid 1 or maybe 2 of in Herald. Depends on what the ritual spell does. Ritual spells ever since Stardust Overdrive have had secondary effects, and like the last couple, Gishki Yakamir, Luminous Dragon Ritual, they've all had effects that help you break even from the ritual summon. So this thing is good. I would love to build a deck around it. I just want at least a couple just for collector's sake. I hope it's a foil because this will look really nice as a super or an ulti. Just not a secret. Then we get to a card that many Dragon players were like, holy shit, is this actually a thing? It's a thing, and it's called Reincarnation's Dragon Samsara. It's a Dark Dragon Synchro, level 5, 126. Generic requirements, 1 tuner plus 1 non-norm, 1 more. Yeah, you know. And you can only use the effect of this guy once per turn. If discarded on the field is sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect or by being destroyed by battle, you can target one monster in either graveyard other than this guy and special summon it. So it's a Monster Reborn on a 2600 ass, and we now have a good level 5 synchro that's a dragon for dragons to go into, because what's something that we've all wanted? A level 5 dragon type synchro monster. Now dragons have one, and you can make this a couple ways: level 1 tuner plus level 4, such as like a Veiler and a just like a level 4 like a Wyvern, like an Eclipse Wyvern, or Veiler plus a Lila that's pop something. Just there's that, like, this thing's good in Chaos Dragons for the fact it's a level 5 Dark Dragon that Pulsar can bring back, and then when it dies, it can bring back Pulsar, and then when Pulsar dies again, you bring back Red Med, who brings back Pulsar, who, like, it's a nice little additional layer to the Chaos Dragon strategy. And then as far as how Disaster Dragon can use this, because yes, it can, number one, you now finally have a level 5 dragon synchro type monster you can go into using Debris Dragon, which is something that Debris always wanted for a long time. Now, level 1 non-tuners that Debris can work with, there's a few. I mean, I'm sure Junk Doppels had situations where they've had a Debris Dragon and a level leader on board, and they've wanted to just use the Debris Dragon just to get it off. Well, you can do that. And back to Disaster, there's a couple of dragons you can actually, well, there's actually only one thing that Debris can bring back, and that's Stardust Zaolong. It's a level 5 light, level 1 light non-tuner dragon type monster. Once per turn, it would be killed in battle, it would not. And yeah, you can go Debris, get Zaolong, then go into this guy. This guy is a Debris Dragon target himself, oddly enough. And while at the moment there's no generic level 9 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner dragon type synchro monsters, the fact that this is an interaction that exists is going to be important down the road when we do get that level 9 generic dragon type monster, dragon type synchro monster that you can make with Debris plus this guy. And then another way of making this guy is Dryguard plus Flamvel Guard, which, well, Dryguard's a 3 of. I mean, you can run 3 Dryguard, or rather, he's unlimited, so you can like run 2 copies of Dryguard and a couple in decks like Disaster or Hieratic Rulers, and you could make this thing. And like, this guy has a lot of potential. It's really good. I would definitely pick up one for just about every dragon deck that could make this thing. And then to another highlight of the set for me, and that is the new archetype called Satellas, or Satella Knights, which are basically Constellars 2.0. Which, of course, gets a +1 in my books, because, you know, I love Constellars, and these guys are basically trying to be Constellars, but better. They operate the same way when they help you put out multiple monsters so you can go into Xyz. You got Constellation Vega, 1216 level 4. You can only use its effect once per turn. When this card is summoned, you can special summon on Tellarknight monster other than itself from the hand, so it's an Elgadi. Then you've got Tellarknight Deneb. You can only use this effect once per turn. When this card is summoned, you can add one Tellarknight monster except itself from your deck to your hand, so it's a much bigger Sherrod's Head. And this guy, Tellarknight Altair, 1700, unknown defense. Once per turn, you can only use this effect. When this card is summoned, you can target one Tellarknight monster other than itself from the graveyard, special summon and face with defense. If you use this effect, monsters other than Tellarknight monsters cannot attack. So it's basically a battling boxer, or whatever it's called. But still, these are all nice. They trigger off of being summoned no matter how they're summoned, and hopefully the next 2 sets after this will help flesh out the deck, because as it is, they're good, but at the same time they share the same weakness of Constellars in that the monsters by themselves don't do anything after they've triggered or something. They don't like keep generating advantage while they're on the board like the current other decks that are doing really well do. So that's one issue I hope later Tellarknight monsters will fix. And as far as the boss monster goes, this thing's really good. Like, so Tellarknight Delitalos is strong. It's costly to make, 3 level 4s, but When it has an exceedance material and you normal or summon a special monster, your opponent can't activate in response. Like, you can summon a monster, they can't bottomless, they can't TT, they can't warning. Okay, once per turn you can detach a material to pop a card on the board, which is always nice, and then when this thing is sent from the field to graveyard, you can special summon a Telenet monster from your hand or your deck. So it replaces itself with a monster from your deck when it dies. This is probably going to be a secret rare, and I don't know how easy it is going to be to make this thing, but it's a really powerful card. It's a good boss monster. And yeah, we'll have to see what the Telenites do after this set. They also get a quick play Telenite Bridge. You can only activate once per turn. You can target a Telenite monster you control. Special summon a Telenet monster with a different name from your deck, and if you do, shuffle the original one into the deck. While the monster special summon is face up, you cannot special summon monsters other than Telenites. I guess the idea is if you summon one of these guys and they try and negate it, you can play this, shuffle it into the deck, and then special summon another one out of the deck. Or special summon one out of the deck and then shuffle the guy into the deck in order to dodge Veiler. The only issue I have is whether or not this thing actually makes the monsters miss timing, because by the looks of it, these are all when you can effects. So it's actually quite possible to make these things miss timing depending on how you structure the chain. But, it's not that good to begin with anyway. Maybe a one-of. This thing, on the other hand, though, is really good. This is called Sacred Constellation Factor. It's a counter trap, and it says when an effect monster effect or spell or trap card is activated, you can send one face-up Telenet monster you control to the graveyard, negate the activation, and destroy the card, then draw a card. So, this deck already gets an Infernity Barrier that lets you draw a card. So, it's an Infernity Barrier Gemini Spark. Oh, wow. If they get something that lets you search these things out, then good. Like, no, okay, Still, like, they have a Stratos, they have a Wolfbark. Well, not a wolf. They have a Debris Dragon, and they have a Faltro, not a Faltro, a Bogar Knight. So they have a Stratos, a Bogar Knight, and a Debris Dragon. In addition to having a really good boss monster. I'm curious to see where this deck is going to go in the later sets. As I said before, they will probably get 3 sets, and they'll probably be like windups where they won't be amazing for a while, but then they'll get something that'll just bust the deck right open. They're going to get exclusives. So I'm really looking forward to playing with this deck. It might very well be something that I could make my main deck next year. And that's good to know. So yeah, look forward to when I'm going to be able to start playtesting Satellanites on this channel, and I'll give you my thoughts as I play around them. What are your thoughts on the cards in this set, and what are your thoughts, of course, on Dragons of Legend? We're in for some very fun times, and we don't even know what the pendulum monsters in this set are going to be. I mean, the rival of an anime always has the 3000 attack dragon, so that means we're going to be getting some dragon type pendulum monsters. Oh boy, pendulum monsters that don't clash with Totem Dragon. That sounds awesome. That being said, thank you guys for watching. Until next time, this is BlueStar899, jacking out.